Your job? Your job is to keep it clear. Your job is to allow the release to continue. Because it doesn't happen. It's not a magic wand. I'm waving the wand over you, say, Shem, you are good. Off you go. At first, it feels terrible, right? You've pulled everything out of those cupboards and you're looking at it going, what did I do? What did I start? I don't know where to even start here. It's a mess. You're climbing over things and putting them in bags and you're like, I don't even know what to do next. The worst thing you can do when you are experiencing that is get into the story. This is a matter of acknowledging, oh, I feel sad in my chest right now. That's interesting. Gratitude for that situation. Gratitude for that heartbreak. If he didn't leave you, you'd never meet your next beloved. Gratitude that you got to experience love in the first place to actually receive the heartbreak. Gratitude that, okay, I have been fired from a job that I thought was my most amazing place in the world, or maybe it wasn't after all. Welcome to Tea with the Priestess, and this week's cup is actually a set. It's a tea for one, and it's one of my most favorite sets. And the reason for that is that how big this teapot is. It gives me a number of cups. Now, I use this pretty much every single day, and the reason for that is that I can get a number of cups through when I'm doing distance tarot readings. So if you've ever had a distance tarot reading from me, chances are this little teacup is being used in the background. This week, I am having the beautiful Flow, which is an energy flow tea from a local priestess. What are you having in your cup this week? Have you ever started a healing journey only to feel worse, only to feel that things are actually getting worse instead of better? What if I told you that that's actually a really good sign? Now, hear me out. Sometimes it's the blocks. Sometimes it's the energy releasing. Sometimes it's lessons wanting to finish up so you can move on in the right direction. When we really sit with that energy of, hang on a second, things are coming up and I'm on a healing journey, I should be feeling better. Catch yourself. Catch yourself quickly and really sit there and assess it. Now, I don't want you going into 6 months of shadow work. I have a whole thing with shadow work, so don't get me started on that. We'll be here for hours. However, I want you to assess it. What is that coming up in your body? Maybe it's asking for some attention to be able to release and let out. Because often, it's funny, when we're on this healing journey, we can feel more emotional than ever. After a Reiki session, after a Seishem session, I can be feeling like, whoo, everything is amazing. I feel lighter. I feel really good. And then the next morning, I can be hit with the tears. I can feel angry or resentful. I can have these big emotions that seem to come out of nowhere. And that is your sign. When you cannot place an actual present moment that has created that emotion or that feeling, that means it's coming from somewhere else. Now, it could mean that you're picking up energy from someone else, and that's a whole other podcast. However, it could be that you're releasing. And the worst thing you can do when you are experiencing that is get into the story. This is a matter of acknowledging, oh, I feel sad in my chest right now. That's interesting. Oh, I feel sad in my leg right now. That's interesting. And let it go. This is not about actually feeling and trying to create a story around it. When we are doing deep healing work, we are really anchoring into that feeling of release. So when we are healing, when we are moving things through our energy, it makes sense that things are going to come up. And so when we are feeling a little bit sensitive, when we are feeling some emotions that don't seem to fit our current situation, it's a really good sign that something is shifting that needs to. And the best thing you can do is allow it to go. Allow it to be there and acknowledge it and release it. Having things come up in your life soon after a healing session is not meaning that, oh my goodness, that was really bad. Maybe there's something wrong with that practitioner. Maybe I got somebody else's energy on me. Okay, maybe you got someone else's energy on you when you left or when you've engaged with someone or been into a place that probably isn't for your highest and best if you haven't protected your shield. However, maybe it's also something that really just needed to finish. I know for myself, when I went on my healing journey, I became really, really sensitive for a period of time. I started to go, well, hang on a second, there's things to this energy. There's something to this. How have I gone all this time and not done healings and almost felt nothing? And then I'm engaging in this beautiful Seishem energy. I'm engaging in this beautiful Reiki energy. I'm moving and shifting energy, and I feel a little bit worse. It's an interesting concept to really dive into. You're not doing it wrong. They're not doing it wrong if they're doing it for you. Actually, you're being activated to shift that stuff so that you can bring in the better. It's like when you go to declutter your house. At first, it feels terrible, right? You've pulled everything out of those cupboards and you're looking at it going, what did I do? What did I start? I don't know where to even start here. It's a mess. You're climbing over things and putting them in bags and you're like, I don't even know what to do next. I'm exhausted. I don't want to do this anymore. But you have to keep moving through it. And once you do, once you declutter, once you move all those unnecessary things out of your life, much the same as a healing journey, the relief. So if there's one thing I could say to you is keep going, keep working through it. The worst thing you can do is exactly like you do when you declutter. Oh, but I really like this. Maybe I'll hold on to it. Oh, this tells a really good story. I'll hold on to it. Your body is asking you to release something. It doesn't want you to hold on to the story because when we tell ourselves the story, we loop. And what happens is that we anchor it back in our system. Your energy's finally going, woohoo, my solar plexus can breathe. We let go of some of that confidence issues that we were having. And you start pulling it back in with a story of, oh, I'm feeling real fearful right now because of this thing that happened to me 10 years ago. And you start to relive the story. Your body goes, oh, okay, that must be important. We need to keep it. Exactly like, I don't know, the piece of paper you found in your drawer that you're hesitant to throw away when you declutter. And the mess is still there. It anchors back into the drawer. You open the drawer and you feel like it's still cluttered. The same thing happens with your energy. Energy is vital to being able to bring in new. You cannot hang any more clothes up in your cupboard if you are still holding on to the last 30 years worth of clothes. All you're doing is cluttering that cupboard even more. It's much the same with energy. I'd love for you to think of your energy as your cupboard. Think of it as your home because it is, it's our vessel. And if we are cluttered up with already things that don't belong there that we no longer wear, then how can we bring the new in? How can we transform? How can we feel good? How can we open up our energy and go, yeah, I did that. That feels really good. Because I don't know about you, but the moment I declutter a space in my house, I keep going back to visit it. I'm like, oh, that's so good. It may have taken me a whole day to get that cupboard done, but it feels amazing. It feels lighter. And it's the same thing with your energy as you're going through that healing journey. So it's really important that you let it go. And a really easy way to do that is just to acknowledge it in your body. So as you're doing your distance healings, as you're going to see your practitioner or your therapist or whoever it is that is supporting you with the release of the energy, when you come back from there, this is a continuation of the journey. This is a continuation of, okay, hang on, we're still doing this. I've got to do something here too. Your job is to keep it clear. Your job is to allow the release to continue. Because it doesn't happen. It's not a magic wand. I'm waving the wand over you, say, Shem, you are good. Off you go. There's usually a turnaround point. Most of my clients will say, oh my goodness, Christy, I've woken up feeling so much lighter. I feel amazing. Now that might be after 3 sessions, or it could be after 1. And then if they haven't worked with me for a while, they might reach out going, I felt amazing, but now something's happening. And I'll go, isn't that interesting? I love that. That's what my teacher says to me all the time. Isn't that interesting? Be curious, but not so curious you need to dive into the story. Be curious that something's happening that may be saying, excuse me, you can let me go now. I'm over here. I'm a little bit stuck. Can you give me a bit of a hand? And we release it. We acknowledge it by saying, oh, I feel a little bit of sadness around that. Okay, you don't loop into the situation, you let it go. You are free, off you go, see you later. Thanks for visiting. Thanks for expanding me. Thanks for leaving more space and room for me to step forward. Gratitude for that situation. Gratitude for that heartbreak. If he didn't leave you, you'd never meet your next beloved. Gratitude that you got to experience love in the first place to actually receive the heartbreak. Gratitude that, okay, I have been fired from a job that I thought was my most amazing place in the world, or maybe it wasn't after all, and you needed the kick to get out the door. Showing gratitude for whatever that feeling is coming up inside of you and releasing it. And you can do that just by, I release you. Feel into the feeling. Notice it move. It usually moves about 3 or 4 times before it actually shifts out. And then it's gone. Emotions are held for 30 seconds. We talked about that on another episode. Allow it to move through you. Allow it to just shift out. You create cords, you create binds when you draw it back in and get your head involved. Yes, your head's there to protect you. It wants to create a story and revisit that story because it's used to feeling that pain there. It's used to feeling that discomfort there. It's looking for the comfort. Where is that thing that I used to hold on to? The brain's trying to make sense of it. And that's when you show the gratitude. That's okay. It's good there. It's great. I've got so much gratitude for that event and it's gone. And I am saying so. I am saying it is so, it is gone. And release it. And you may need to do it 3 or 4 times. That's aftercare. You know, when you go to the hospital, you have an operation, they give you an aftercare pack. Same as the dentist, they give you an aftercare pack. Same as everywhere you could go, aftercare pack. Don't forget, you've just done a big session with the PT. The PT will say, oh, don't forget, tomorrow you might be a bit sore. You might want to do some stretching. You'll wake up, you're sore. Oh, that's right, I've got to do some stretching. I've just done a big healing journey. Oh, that's right, Christy said, release it, let it go, stay really hydrated. All those lessons that have to be finished start to come in. So if you have a week filled with what is going on with the world, well, great. Because they're all the contracts that needed to finish up for you to move on to your higher timeline. Sometimes we need to go through the muck, like the declutter, in order to get to the fresher, higher, amazing lightness that you're after. And reorganizing all your chakras and all your meridians and all the energy is a big job. You're restructuring something that stayed in that dormant state for so long. So expect some things to shift and move and get uncomfortable. It is a brilliant sign if things are starting to close in your life. It is a brilliant sign that you are stepping onto something bigger and better. You don't need to question it. You don't need to loop through it. You just need to honor it. It's a situation. It's a lesson that just needs honoring. You have free will. You get to choose the outcome. This is a journey. That's why they call it the healing journey. You can get a beautiful Seishem session a beautiful multidimensional energy session. And you can then just work from there. Doing your gusso, calling your energy home, releasing the cords, and stepping into your energy and making decisions from your highest and best. And don't loop, don't get in the story. It's always about full sovereignty. We want to get to a place where we have full sovereignty, full neutrality. And when the big things come up, we're able to sit there in our energy and go, well, isn't that interesting? What is this about? What do I need to learn from this situation? And then things get better. And healing journey, don't let me discourage you at all, right? It is the most beautiful journey. Your relationships improve. Your connections improve. Your life improves. And you're no longer carrying that 50-kilo backpack because you have released that weight so you can step in to your highest timeline. You've released the weight of what's been anchoring you in a space and you can't move forward. And then it can take a day, it can take a week, it can take a month, it can take a year. And things just line up. And the more you do, the deeper you get, the more trauma you remove. And you start to feel better. And just by setting that intention of, I don't want to carry this anymore, you're already halfway there. It's about choosing to release. It's about choosing the higher road. It's about choosing not to loop. The moment you release the story is the moment you get to heal. Enjoy your cup of tea. May your protection be strong. May your energy be high vibrational. And may you enjoy a good hot cup of tea. Until next week.